This is chapter number 4, Tribals, Dikus and the Vision of a Golden Age. We are taking question and answers, important question and answer. Every type of question we are going to take, and we'll try to understand this chapter. So these are the pictures we will be referring to as and when it is required. The first one is the local weavers and leather workers turned to Dash for supplies of kusum and palash flowers. So the local weavers, bunkar and leather workers, chamde ka kaam. So they will go to some tribes whenever they have the requirement of kusum and palash. These are flowers, kusum and palash, and they are known for their color. Basically, the color they use for coloring basically. Okay. So now this weavers and leather people, they require these color in order to color them. So they will go to khonds, because khonds would gather this kusum and palash and give it to them. The Bastar rebellion in central India broke out in. So Bastar rebellion, it happened in 1910. So we are talking about here, okay, central India. So these are different tribes, and I'll tell you about them whenever the question comes. Which revolt was popular in Maharashtra in 1940? And the answer was or is Worli, Maharashtra. The Khonds lived in Orissa or Odisha. So let me just show you. This is from your NCERT book only. This is Odisha, and here if you see, the last one is Khonds. What type of lives did the herders live? Herders. Pashupalak. Nomadic life. Nomadic means not staying at one place. Depending upon the season and the time, they move from one place to another. One Gujjar of Punjab, Bakarwals of Kashmir, Lavadi of Andhra Pradesh, Gaddis of Kullu, all they were nomadic, Khana Badosh. So the basic thing is they have cattle, small animals, sheep and the goats. So this is a grassland, for example. So whenever grass is there or grass is available, they'll stay here. When it is finished, they have to move to some other place. Now I'll give you an example of Jammu Kashmir and in this Jammu to Srinagar. Now when the Srinagar has snow or it's very cold, these Bakarwals, they used to come to Jammu and nearby areas. And when the season changes, they move back to Srinagar with hundreds and thousands of these goats. Dash tribe practice settled agriculture. So which is the tribe practice settled agriculture? So means staying at one place and then cultivating here. They were not doing jhum kheti or jhum cultivation. The answer is Mundas of Chota Nagar Plateau. So let me show here. This is the Munda tribe we are talking about, and the leader which we will be talking about is Birsa Munda. Jhum cultivation is practiced these days in. So basically it's northeastern state, but we'll choose an option here. So this jhum cultivation is done wherever the terrain is undulated. The situation, the height is varying, and the soil is very dry, and the water is really scarce. So in this area, the northern eastern state and the MP, where it is called as Bewar. So slash and burn is jhum cultivation. That is, burn and then whatever ash is remaining, just spread it with just peeling the upper layer and then just throwing the seeds, not plowing and seeding. So you leave the land once you have got one cultivation, leave it like fallow to regain its upjaupan or fertility, and then go to other place. So this jhum cultivation is practiced these days in eastern states of India. Now what is the eastern state? So the best answer would be northern eastern state. So northeast North, south, east, west. The east is the answer. But if northern eastern is there, it would be a better option. So northeast state, still jhum cultivation is practiced. So this direction I am talking about. Let me show you the area. So this is the area I am talking about. Okay. Especially the Khasi, Naga and above places rightwards. So this is how jhum kheti is done. Jhum cultivation is done. So slashing and burning. This is a picture of Assam in the varied terrain, the high elevation points. This ash will work as it will make the land fertile. Okay. Santhal tribe arose in revolt in the year. So Santhal, Maharashtra we just talked about. So we talked about Bastar rebellion. So we need to know the dates also, means the year also. 1855, Santhal tribe. Let me show you Santhal tribe. So this is the women, just depicting the, you must have an idea how do they look. In many regions, forest departments set up forest villages to ensure. Now let me give you a background. What happened? Britishers, they first said that all the forests are the state property. What does it mean? That it belongs to the state, the government, British rule. The second thing what they did, because certain forests they made reserved because they were producing timber which are giving cash, money and also used for the railway lines. So no Adivasi, Janjati or tribal group, they were not allowed to enter this reserved forest. Actually, they owned it, but now they cannot go. So now the timber, because if you see these wooden planks, I'll just show you a picture. These are the wooden planks, and when it is required, first of all you have to cut the trees and then you have to transport it. Who will do it? The Britishers won't do it. Who will come here? Only the people who are Adivasi Janta, they will come, because reserve forest they cannot enter. So it is whole forest. If you don't have the idea of forest, you cannot look after it. So both of the jobs, that is the cheap labor and looking after this whole forest area, now the forest department and the Britishers were forced that we cannot just make the reserve. We have to allow these people, these tribal groups to come here to settle down. Otherwise, how would we get cheap labor? So this is how the answer is: a regular supply of cheap labor. That is how this is done. The revolt of Songram Sangma rose in the year 1906 in, the place is Assam, Songram Sangma. The forest satyagraha rose in the central provinces 1930. Central provinces, I am talking about Madhya Pradesh. So let me show you a picture. This is the Chirner Jungle Satyagraha 1930, forest satyagraha. Okay, these are the models, and it is there just for us to remember that this happened in 1930. Central provinces, the Madhya Pradesh today. United Provinces, Uttar Pradesh today. Birsa spent time in the company of dash preachers. So Birsa Munda, actually when he was young, he went to missionary school, that is Christian school. So he got an idea about becoming Christians and getting all the kingdom they for once owned, the Mundas. Now after that he went to a Vaishnava preacher, a person who was Vaishnava. He was a worshipper of Vishnu and he was Updeshak, preacher. So now he spent time in the company of Vaishnava preacher, and he also had that sacred dhaga or thread that is called Janeyu. So this is the and you will be surprised that he knew about the idea of Christians, he knew about the ideas of the Vaishnavas or the Hindu landlords, and finally he went against them, or he went against both of them when he started his movement. Again, Vaishnava are the worshippers of Vishnu. Now let us match the following. So I'll show you the picture of Mahua also. Let me show you Mahua. These are Mahua seeds. Now the flower seeds, these are used for for alcohol also and for oil also. So mahua. So now mahua is a flower which is used to make alcohol, intoxication basically. So mahua, a flower which is used to make alcohol. Let me just match it. Okay. Now coming to Vaishnav, we just saw worshippers of Vishnu. Diku are the outsiders. They are not specifically the Englishmen or Europeans, but the tribals are referring them as Diku, the traders, the Mahajans, that is the moneylenders, the contractors. All these who are the reason of misery to these tribal groups, they were called as Diku, and they wanted to get rid of this Diku. That is how they call them as outsiders, Diku. So let us match it with a person who comes from outside, not from the tribal group. Baigas. So these are the tribal people who lived in central India. So these are the tribal group. Central India, basically Madhya Pradesh and here. Bewad is basically jhoom. So in Madhya Pradesh, the jhoom cultivation is known as bewad. Sal is a deciduous forestry which provides good quality timber. Sal. So this is the final matching. Let us do the true and false now. Birsa himself declared the God had appointed him to rule his people. This is true. Now what happened? Now Birsa Munda, the people would say that he has some superpowers. He can cure the diseases, he can multiply the grains, and he can do anything which he wants. Now the people started following him because he was outspoken. He wanted to get that Satyug back, the golden age, which is away from or devoid of these Dikus. So finally he also tagged him or appointed him or declared himself that the God has appointed him, because the Santals and Orangs, they are also following Mundas, this Birsa Munda. Not only Mundas, Santhal and Orangs, these tribes also, they were the followers of Munda. So he finally declared that God has appointed him to rule his people, to get them Satyug. The British described the tribal people as Diku. No. This is wrong. Why? Because the tribal people were saying those traders who would come from outside, give them price, money, the stuff with a lot of price, the money lenders who would give them loan with huge these expenses and interest, the contractors that will take them, give them low wages, and also not allow them to go back to their home. All these were regarded as Diku along with Europeans, the Englishmen and the others. Birsa was born in a family of Santhal. This is not correct. You know Birsa Munda, so he was a Munda. See, Birsa Munda. I'll show you Munda tribe also one more time. Bakarwals of Kashmir are shepherds, and this is false. You see, I'll just show you. So these are Bakarwals. These are basically goats. So these are Bakarwals. Birsa was arrested in AD 95, and this is absolutely correct. Why? Because the British officials, when they saw that one person called Birsa Munda is upcoming, the traders, moneylenders, the Christians, the missionaries, the Europeans, so the Birsa Munda movement was all about getting rid of all of them. That is all the outsiders, and then regaining the kingdom of the golden age, that is Satyug. So all these, they were Dikus. And when this the movement was basically of removing them. So Satyug he wanted to attain, that is the golden age of Mundas. So he urged his followers that just rebel and try to get rid of them. Now when the British rule or officials got to know in 1895, he was convicted. He was arrested and convicted for 2 years for rioting. And after 1895, 1897 he was released, and then he went places to places, and he again urged for the revolt, and then many things happened. Like the churches were burned, the moneylenders were attacked. In 1900, Birsa Munda died because of cholera, Heza. Now, Birsa Munda died in 1900, and this is absolutely true, which just I told you, it's true. Now, coming to fill in the blanks. Birsa wanted to set up a dash, Munda Raj, Satyug. So, the better answer will be Satyug actually. If you write Munda Raj, just in the bracket write Satyug also. Because previously they were making embankments. They were controlling the springs, jharne. Right? They were free to move anywhere. They were doing settled cultivation. So they were moving freely without any hitch or blockade. So all these were a golden age they used to enjoy. These the Munda tribe. Actually all the tribes. But here we are talking about Munda Raj. The British made effort to settle dash cultivators, and this is jhoom cultivators. So as I just indicated you, the jhoom will slash and burn one place, means they will just burn, and whatever ash is there, it will remain, and they'll grow something. And once it becomes non-fertile, they'll go to some other land, then other land like this. Now British wanted only money. They wanted tax. So they can only levy or they can only impose tax when the people are staying at one place. Those who are moving, how can they actually get Bhu Rajaswa or the taxes from the land? So the Santhals and the Gonds, they thought that these are good people. Why? They are civilized. Because they stay at one place. They are not liking these Bakarwas and Labadis, etc. They are moving from here and there. Okay, so they wanted the jhoom settlers to settle down so that they can levy or they can impose tax. But the problem is, the jhoom cultivation is done at the places where water is very scarce, the land is dry, and the terrain is very varied. The elevation is quite changing. So that is the problem. Okay, so basically Northern Eastern State, they allowed them. They gave them, okay, you can do jhoom kheti. All members of Dash were regarded as descendants of original settlers. This is clan. Clan in we call it as a kul. So the clan, all the members of the clan, they have come from same. They are descended from the same original people, and they have a bond of kinship. Kinship, that is kutumba, a family kind of bonding is there. That is how these tribals would think. Dash were bought from the Santhals and sold by the traders at 5 times the purchase price. So let me show you a picture. Now if you see, what are these Santhal women doing? These are cocoons. What is a cocoon? So basically, they are rearing silk. They are doing things for silk production. So it is a basic building block. So cocoons this is a worm. Now shahtut, they eat, this worm eat shahtut ke patte, leaves of shahtut. Okay. Now when he is about to live his life, this worm, it will create a cocoon around it, and this cocoon is basically silk. These are the basic building block of silk. So Hazaribagh, if we talk about, the Santhals were rearing these silkworms, and they were doing things for silk. So now they were rearing it. So now what will happen? The traders would come, the middlemen would come, middlemen or traders you can say. They will come and they will take 1000 cocoons for just 3 and 4 rupees. And then they'll send it to Burdwan and Gaya, and they will sell it for 5 to 10 times. 5 times it is said in your chapter. Means they'll get a huge profit. 30-40 rupees they'll sell it. So the middleman will get profited. What will Santhal do? They won't get the benefit, right? Okay, this is all about this chapter. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.